Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's great to finally meet you because this is how we meet each other nowadays, over Zoom. So why don't you tell us a little
Exactly.
bit about yourself and your organization and what you're passionate about?
All right. So I am running a digital marketing agency since the year 2010. As all of you can probably guess from my accent that I'm Italian, but for
Hmm.
the last 17 years, I'm based in Dubai.
Mm,
And to be honest, initially I was struggling. I mean, I'm talking about 14 years ago to convince organizations that they need digital marketing because nobody
right.
had a clue about what I was talking about. So I was like the crazy guy doing crazy things that nobody understand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
finally, I
Well, it's
realized
like
that the best
14 years ago.
way,
I can't even imagine what things were like in 14 years ago. What is that, like 2000? No, no,
2010, no, 2010.
2010. I can't, like smartphones had just come out, right? A few years prior to that. And people were still selling
Yes,
stuff on web and everything was web. Most things were web based, right? And was there any social media at the time? I guess Facebook had been around for a couple of years, but that's
yes,
about it.
yes. As Barack Obama managed, thanks to social media, to become a president, that has been a world-recognized success. And I was
Right.
lucky because I met one of the guys that was behind his campaign.
Oh,
And
cool.
so then I realized that this was a great field to be into. And actually, the first time where I launched a digital marketing campaign was in the year 2003. So
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
21 years
Too
ago.
early.
Yes. And at the time, I was working for Oracle, the
Hmm.
database company, the Fortune 500. And again, that was even more a challenge to explain people why they need to pay Google, since Google
Yeah.
was free and everyone knows
Yeah.
it. And that's how I started.
Yeah. No,
And
I
then so
remember in
basically,
2003, I was working for a web design company, and that's when we used to be able to charge $1 million to do one web page. It was great. The times were
yeah.
fantastic.
Yes, indeed. I was just before working for Telecom Italia, and we were doing the same, charging
Hmm.
crazy money for Telecom Italia clients to do their web page.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
back in the days, I already realized even if you have an amazing website, our winning website, nobody's gonna know it. So you need to
Yeah.
advertise the
Yeah.
website.
Well, there was a
And
period of
then
time, where it was easy to find sites because there wasn't that many out there, right? And
yeah,
then after a
yeah,
while, it started to more sites were out there. And then I remember Yahoo being sort of like hand curated search engine at one point,
yes.
right? And it was easy to find sites then because there were so few of them. And now there's just so many of them that's impossible.
Yes. I'm glad that you still remember. Yes, indeed. In Yahoo, they used to have a big team of people in indexing the websites manually one by one. And it was
Yep.
easy. Now, a
Yeah.
few years later, become impossible. And that's why the first search engine was Alta Vista. And I was
Yeah.
shockingly surprised. And then when Google came in, basically it was another game since,
I loved Alta Vista. I
uh,
thought it was great.
yeah. The only problem is that after some time they become greedy and they start adding advertising banners everywhere.
Yep.
And SEO experts already back in the days, they realized that the best way to get first, if you have any porn material, was search engine. And at a certain stage, whatever I was searching, the results was full of porn websites. So that's I realized, man, what's going on here? And when Google
Yeah, and
came
how do you
in,
how do you
very
get seen
strong.
above? So even in 2010, it was hard for for your website to be seen by people. Is that true? Like even then, it was difficult. Is that
I
why you
mean,
decided to start the
it,
business?
it was relatively easy before Google because Google
Mm,
came in with the page ranking and many other systems that completely get rid of a lot of crap. And
right.
that's how the game changed. And literally in a couple of years, every other search engine pretty much disappeared.
Yeah. But it's kind of like they own the market now. So if you're not visible through Google, you're kind of out of luck, right?
Yes. You don't exist or you are a dodgy company. So that's absolutely
Yeah.
true. But we
So
reached
you
the
might
point that we trust Google so much that we trust Google more than our brother, father, mother, sister,
I
even more than
know
our
that
doctor.
that actually
So that's
happened
the
to me once.
challenge.
My kids were talking about something and they needed an answer to something. And I saw them walking towards me and I thought, oh, they're going to ask me a question. And they walked right past me and said, let's ask Google. I'm
Now
like,
we don't have
great.
any
Google's
more
your
to
dad
control our
now.
kids. Exactly, unfortunately. Or even GPT. So that's
Yeah,
the next.
exactly. So you must have
I
seen a
start telling
lot
my
of,
kids, yeah, and I start telling my kids about GPT. Not too much. They are 8 and 9 years old, so I want them to use their brain to do the homework and stuff like this. But I told them I registered for the free accounts, and one of my son he told me, look, Dad, sometimes I ask things to GPT, and he's right. I say, what are you asking? Yeah, which Pokemon is the strongest? Is it Pikachu or whatever other name it is? And even they can get an answer about that. So there are no limits to what GPT and
ChatGPT
AI
knows
can do
everything. It
nowadays.
knows everything.
Exactly, even about Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. So you've seen a lot of transition then since 2010 to today. I mean, what would you say
Yeah.
is the biggest trend that's occurring?
I mean, I noticed that every 2 or 3 years, or even less, there is a mega trend that is revolutionizing the market.
Hmm.
That's why in basically back in the days, just before opening my own agency, I was already creating my own strategy that I'm using it for 15 years, unchanged. There are very little adjustment every now and then, but it's based on 5 pillars. And that's
Hmm.
what I've been doing for the last 14 years, basically finding a way that can resist over time. So what I call it a future-proof strategy, because otherwise it's a problem that every organization, every year, there is a new big trend, a new big company, a new Silicon Valley
Yeah, and everybody
revolutionary
just latches
company.
on the trend and they ride the trend
Exactly.
for a bit, and then there's another. Do you remember it was like it was crypto at one point, and now it's AI, and it's like there's always some
Yeah.
new trend that everybody jumps on. But you literally have a strategy that you haven't changed in 15 years, and it's
In
still
15
working.
years.
Wow,
Yes. And I can
fantastic.
say that for another 10 years, it's going to last. Even
Wow,
when people say, oh, the metaverse is going to revolutionize the world, everything is going to change. And I was thinking, in my strategy, the metaverse is just going to be one little piece of the bigger chunk. And
wow.
then Apple Vision Pro is going to revolutionize how we work and think and do this and that and this and that. Again, just another piece of things. And no big deals, since I noticed the same when Facebook came in, and when Instagram came in, when YouTube came in, before that, when Google came in, but still, it was basically working in the same way, including the
Wow.
fact that most of the strategy that I've seen, they put at the center the website or
Mm.
your landing page.
Hmm.
And for me, even that, it's a wrong conception,
Really?
because
Because
people
that's what
that
everybody
love
says.
social media,
Everybody says you need
yeah,
a landing page, like a focused landing page to drive your marketing to. So that's wrong. You're saying that that's
not
incorrect?
necessarily. I mean, you may have it, but again, and it's just another piece. And then what's happened is that, and I see more and more and more with younger generation, they love a platform, and once you move them out of it, they feel uncomfortable.
Mm.
So the Facebook lover, when you send them on a website, they drop 97 to 99% of the time. And again, the YouTubers, you move to a web page, they drop. The TikToker, you move to a web page, they drop. So you need to have a platform which is exactly, I mean, you stay in, and now many platforms, they allow you to build a kind of landing page in their own platform. Otherwise, you
Mm.
need to have a landing page that looks exactly like the platform itself, like the
Interesting.
TikTok or Facebook or something like this. That's what keeps people confident that they are in the same place. They're not going to go somewhere else in a website that they don't know, with colors, with icon, with font
Interesting.
different than what they got used to. So
Yeah.
that's what I notice, and it makes a lot of sense. So again, doesn't mean that everything else does not work. It means that there are a certain amount of, I call it the windows. So where you are showcasing your product and services, that doesn't need to be necessarily your website. And then again, if you are a restaurant and you use a food aggregator like Uber Eats, that I'm sure that it's available worldwide,
Oh
there are
yeah.
many other food aggregators in every country, you may not even have a web page, because your customer, they know Uber Eats, and they see your food, and they order your food from Uber
Yep.
Eats. And
Yep.
what is Uber Eats? Just another Windows of yours.
Yep.
So
Well,
that's that's
I've had
how.
this thought a while back, is that with the proliferation of all these platforms, do businesses even really need their own website as long as they have sort of visibility on all these platforms?
I mean, obviously, I recommend always to have one, because you need to have a company. You need to, I mean, at the same time, gain trust towards your customers.
Right. So
Otherwise,
it's
again,
more of a
if
trust
you
thing
don't,
than actually selling
yeah,
anything. It's just that let me go check this company to see if they're legit. If they have a legitimate website
yeah,
that looks reasonably modern, then but
yeah,
a lot of people won't even go that far, right? Because they'll just purchase in Facebook, or they'll purchase in Uber
yeah.
Eats, or they'll purchase in whatever platform they happen to be in.
Yeah, or they ask you a question in one of the platform, and then they interact with your team from the platform itself until they're ready to buy. And then maybe when they need to buy, you send them a link or something like this. But again, the website is not the centerpiece of any company anymore. It's just one of the several windows that your company have. Like you have a shop, you have a shop in every shopping mall, in every town of the United States or any country, etc. You have one local digital presence in any one of the digital assets or digital shopping mall. As I say, every social media network is one of them. And then that's basically is how I structure the things for the long run. Then, of course, the funnel is also important, but the funnel doesn't only necessarily work in your own website. You can have a funnel working even inside Google My Business. So you have your local shop, your local business, etc., or even international business running on Google My Business page. And what it is, it's another windows to your product and services.
Right.
And that's exactly what I envisioned so many years ago, and that's still what I'm doing.
That's really interesting. So a business would. So which one of these 5 pillars is that? Is that one of the 5 pillars? Is to have the on every platform?
Exactly. Yes. And
So
then one of them is the traffic, because clearly without traffic, we are absolutely nothing. And again, I started 21 years ago to get traffic from Google Ads. And I was the only person working in any Fortune 500 doing that. Now, I mean, back in the days, I used to pay 1 cent of dollar per click, no matter what search, what keyword you were looking
yes, I
for.
remember those days when it was actually cheap to advertise.
Yeah. But can you believe that any company I was speaking with, nobody got it. Nobody want to
Wow.
even try, not even do a test run. I mean, I was overly shocked.
That's
And then
nuts.
realized, what's the best way to convince the world? I'm going to teach them. So
Yep.
then they're going to know that they know nothing and they need it. And that's exactly what I did.
I
So
love
that's why I
it.
became a lecturer and I
So
started
you have
teaching at
paid traffic.
university,
So
etc., etc., etc.
are you ignoring SEO completely, or are you saying that that's like
I mean,
is
SEO,
this another pillar?
No. Actually, when I say traffic, I mean organic traffic and paid traffic. I mean, most of the organization, they do like 5, 6, or 7 traffic source. But actually, we count more than 1,500 traffic tactic. And I'm sure that there are more, because every single day, there is some crazy person working somewhere, waking up and finding out a better, faster, cheaper, stronger way to get traffic to your company.
But
So traffic is not a problem.
Paid traffic is probably the best way, right? I mean, as long as you've got the money, as long as you've got a budget.
It always depends. It depends on the ROI that you are able to pull out. Because if it costs you $10 and you get $9 out of it, you're just losing money. You cannot run the show.
Exactly.
And but it's obviously it's one of the fundamental components. And then after the windows, then you get the sales system. So basically, how you're going to convert a visitor into a client. Now, if you are a B2C, you can sell online. If you're a B2B, you generate a lead. But even after you generate a lead, you need to keep nurturing the lead. Otherwise, the conversion, I mean, the sales team is going to convert very few, and they're not going to make big bucks. And so the sales system basically is responsible for the conversion, which includes as well the funnel. But if you look a little bit more, wide vision, it's include the full customer journey from A to Z.
So I've heard that the number of touch points that you need with a client or a customer or a prospect to get them to sell has basically gone up a lot, right? It used to be like 5, and then there's 7 and 9. Now I hear it's like 15, 20. What's your experience in that case?
That's a great question. It depends as well on the type of product and again on the trust that the brand has with you. So if you want to buy the new iPhone, you don't go anywhere. You just go to the Apple shop, queuing up and buy the iPhone. You don't need any touch point.
No funnel required.
Exactly. But if we come out with the Chris and Chris mobile phone, of course, it's going to be much tougher than queuing up on a Chris shop phone. So that's required more interactions. And then we say that, I mean, talking about communication, you should see the message from 3 different sources, at least, in order to feel your brain overwhelmed with the brand. So that's why there are typically social media, or then a few other portals, websites, and maybe Google. So there should be at least 3 sources where you perceive the brand around. Because every time when you see the brand, you feel like, oh, I think it's nice. And then you go somewhere else. Then you see that somewhere else. Then you think, I think I've heard about that brand. I think it's cool. And then sometime maybe you search and you see the name and you click and you feel that you are doing the right choice because you're being pre-programmed to do that.
So
So
you
that's
have
why
to
they
see it
should be
on
at least three.
multiple platforms.
Yeah.
It sounds like a rich man's
Yeah.
game, though. You got to pay
Yeah.
for traffic on all these platforms. Is that correct?
Yes, but actually you get much better result. Instead of dedicating, let's say, $10,000 on one platform, if you dedicate 3,333 in 3 platforms, you get much better results because your brain gets fooled by every one of them that you feel like you have seen it somewhere. And then you feel you have seen it somewhere. And that's coming back to the old days when there was only TV and we were seeing the same ads over and over and over and over 50 times a day.
Right.
Until finally we get convinced that the brand was good because we got brainwashed. Now we expect that with one impression, one click, one conversion. Come on, we need to be.
So now you see it. Now you have to
fair.
see it. So you have to see it on Facebook, and you have to see it on Twitter, and you have to see it on Google, and you have to see it on TikTok and Instagram. So all of your clients, it seems like they have to have a pretty wide footprint.
True, especially because every platform is a little bit different. So you should have a little bit of adjustments on the message, not just shooting the same stuff over and over and over everywhere. But I mean, every platform has his own adjustment required.
Right. And then of course, every platform is targeted to different people. So are you going to do B2B ads on TikTok? Probably not. Right.
I mean, actually, yes, you can. I mean, it's not always easy to target B2B, for example, in every platform, especially TikTok. But I mean, you can do a kind of remarketing or something like this, remarketing, retargeting. And then you can pray that the same person is going to watch that. Because as much as everyone believes that TikTok is for kids, I mean, if I sit next to my kids, they open TikTok and immediately they see the stupid guy doing stupid things.
That's right.
I'm sitting next to them.
Want your kids seeing.
Exactly. But this is what adults and business people, they're still reluctant about TikTok. When I open TikTok, I see thought leaders. And in 30 seconds, in 60 seconds, they give me the latest of the latest of the latest tips that I don't need to go anywhere else. Just open TikTok, wait 2-3 minutes. That's it. And I got the news of the day in digital marketing, AI, and whatever sector you need.
Yeah, obviously, I think it's highly underrated. I think people have this impression that TikTok is just, a bunch of people doing a bunch of stupid things, but they are AI driven. So they know exactly the kind of things that you're interested in, right?
Yeah. And actually, I see a big difference between a YouTube Shorts, which is the kind of, apparently, the copycat of TikTok, and TikTok. So in YouTube Shorts, I see only entertaining video, 100% entertaining. They're nice, they catch my attention, but they give me zero value.
Right.
While in TikTok, I get the value. So I get the thought leader. They gave me the top 5 tips, the best things, what's happened. Oh, you know what's happened yesterday in TikTok? Oh, yesterday in Google, what just did? Okay, they're doing it in a TikTok way. You cannot say, dear ladies and gentlemen, yesterday Google announced. No way. In TikTok.
Why is everyone always yelling at the screen?
TikTok
it seems to me that everyone's like yelling at their phone. Yelling at the screen.
Exactly.
The more gesticulations and yelling they can do, it's like...
Hey, you know what's happened yesterday? Google is getting insane.
Exactly.
And they tell you the same thing that you can, but at least in 10 seconds, I got the news of the day about Google. That's it.
Exactly.
Done. I don't need to read anything. I don't need to watch any video. Done. In 10 seconds, I got the news.
You gave me an idea. I think I'm going to do a TikTok channel for one of my channels now. I was like, but I have to do the crazy.
Exactly. You only need to move a lot and talk a lot and shout a lot and have a lot of...
But I'm Greek, so I can easily talk with my hands and I like...
Exactly. That's all perfect. Otherwise, you see people doing a serious video on top and placing a game on the bottom. Like one of those funny games, like the car jumping and doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And you get hooked with the game.
Exactly.
And at the same time, you listen to the serious guy talking on top. So there are no limits about how to brainwash. I gotta stop being a serious guy. That's the attention.
Thing. So I think we're on pillar 3, right? That was the third one. So you have 2 more.
Yes. Now, after you got the conversion, then you think that's okay. Now we're happy. We can go holiday. We can.
We got a customer. We don't need to do anything else.
Apparently,
customer
but in reality, most of the time, once you get a client, you don't cover the cost of client acquisition. It depends, but most of the time you don't. Yeah. So the next step is how to keep the customer loyal. And then again, tactics to make sure that he come back and he buy again. And not only that, but how to make the customer loving you. so much that it's gonna give you word of mouth.
Mm.
And that one of the best ways is convince the customer to give you a testimonial, to leave a review, to leave a comment, to comment in social media, any activity which is going to make the customer talk about your product.
Right. Even if it's even
That's
if
gonna
it's not
sell.
necessarily positive, right? You just need them to engage with your
Of
product and
course,
talk about your product.
If it's a negative, then you kill your customer.
No, but if
I'm
it's
joking.
negative, you can actually work with them to turn them into a positive
Yeah,
customer, right? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And obviously, that's what makes more customer coming to you, because word of mouth is always the strongest marketing tactic,
Right.
but it's not easy to manage. I cannot just survive from word of mouth. If today nobody's talking about me, I am jobless, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we need the other tactics as well.
Mhm.
And then after word of mouth, basically, that's the cheapest way to generate traffic, again, for your activity, for your campaign. What keeps these four pillars that we discuss all together? So again, traffic, windows, sales system, and loyalty and advocacy. What keeps them together? Analytics. So data, KPI, making sure that we can measure the ROI of every single activity, every single bubble around. And that's bottom line, how we close the circle, and now we can go on for a decade.
Right. And those are unchanged since you first
Yes.
started. But I mean, back when you first started, there was only a few platforms, so it was a lot easier
there
to
were
manage.
few channels.
Exactly.
Few channel, few traffic source. Then again, doesn't mean that you need to use all of the 1,500 traffic source.
Right.
Now, the point is to select those where your target audience is going to spend most of the time. Because we can say that Facebook is the largest social media, but how many decision makers are actively looking at Facebook every day?
Especially when you're doing B2B, right? I mean, you're not going to have...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has it. Even the CEOs of Coca-Cola and the CEOs of Microsoft,
everyone uses
biggest
Facebook,
CEO
sure.
has a Facebook account, but doesn't mean that they open it. Or maybe they open it just 1 minute just to see what their uncle or brother or sister or kids they are doing. That's it. They close it. Instead of going out and smoke a cigarette, they open Facebook and they spend 2 minutes watching it and close it.
They do both at the same time. They open a cigarette
Maybe.
and Facebook.
That could be. That could be. So that's why, by the fact that they have it, doesn't mean that they are going to actively looking for suppliers that they get an advice from Facebook.
Right.
So there are other platforms where you can get them. And obviously, LinkedIn, email, etc., and Google, SEO, articles, news, PR, digital PR. There are other tactics to get CEOs or senior executives or decision makers, etc. And that's how it's very important. And that's still part of the sales system to find out, to craft your online persona, the perfect target audience, so you can really select the right people rather than, oh, I've heard that Snapchat is amazing. Hey, we need to do Snapchat. Yeah. And I got a client that they were running an healthcare company and we were running their campaign for several years. And then they start saying, oh, we need to do Snapchat. I say, look, for your type of business, Snapchat is totally it's not going to work.
It's not for you.
No. We have a friend that is running an agency, and then we have another friend. He has a restaurant. He gets full of clients from Snapchat. It's a success. I say, okay, if you want to try. But I told you that. So they launch a campaign. After the months, it comes to the review meeting. And they told me, you see, we got 50,000 visitors, 50,000 clicks from Snapchat. So it was a success. And you say, okay, let's see inside. Let's see in analytics what they say. And the real visitor were 10,000.
Yeah.
So you pay 50,000 clicks and you get 10,000 visitors. What's happened to the other 40,000? They got lost. I mean, they click and immediately they change their mind. Nobody knows. Not only that, when I started tracking the conversion from Snapchat, the leads were 1.
Wow.
1.
Wow.
Out of 10,000 visitors, 1 lead.
And 50,000 clicks. That's
and
ridiculous.
50,000 clicks. So, and then I told them, so what, are you looking to continue for another month? Actually, maybe not this time.
Yeah, maybe not.
It's fine. I mean, you can do your trial, you can do your test. That's fine. Nobody knows the results of a platform, of a new platform, if you don't try. You allocate 10% of the budget, nobody's going to die. But after 1 or 2 months, if you see that nothing happened, then maybe it's time to leave it and go somewhere else.
Exactly. Well, it's time to think like a futurist. It's the year 2034, 10 years from now. Do you think this model that's been going strong for the last 15 years is going to still be around in 10 years? Or do you think that things are going to
Yes,
change?
yes, yes.
So
I still
everything's going to
believe
be
it.
exact. You're going to have a lot more platforms out there that people
Yeah,
are going to be on, but the
yeah.
same core thing is going to change. At what point does it get sort of so totally unwieldy? Because it seems like there's going to be, we're already at the point where it's kind of unwieldy. Like if you have a B2C product,
Yeah.
you've got to put a ton of effort into a lot of different platforms. And is
Yeah.
this just going to keep getting more and more exponential?
Yes, I believe so. And also, I believe that successful companies are already taking their senior executives and converted them into personal brand.
Mm,
Even, I mean, it doesn't take much effort since if you are a CEO, you don't need to start posting stuff, etc., etc. There's going to be people posting for you on your behalf.
of
But
course.
the type of post that goes on from the CEO are not the content from marketing. This is something completely different. You are a
Mm,
leader. You are a thought leader. You are somebody that people want to follow. So that's why I believe that C-level executives, even the CFO, which traditionally is somebody that never, ever, ever posts in his own life. But if you see a CFO posting cool stuff, then people are going to think, wow. And who is going to follow potentially the CFO? Investors. So
mm,
people that eventually are going to buy the stocks of your company.
right.
So all of this add up to the windows to another level, because aside of having just your product and your service, then you have your thought leader inside your company. And then some of them will become the key person of influence. Somebody
Okay,
like Elon
Christian,
Musk.
I'm seeing a lot of dollar signs here. There's a lot. It's like, what about the poor individual startup or the small startup? They can't afford this game, can they? I mean, how do they afford this game? The small
They have no
startups.
chance. They're going to die all. No, I'm joking.
Seriously?
Actually, some of the startups are more successful than the big company because they start with the human figure. They
Mm,
start with the founder. And the
mm,
vision of the founder is the one that drag everything else.
right.
So that's the important part. You don't have the, as you see, as you know, the money to build a mega brand, to hire a mega agency, etc., etc. So either you find out a way to partner up with somebody that can do it for you or with you, or again, you need to become a public figure
Mm.
first.
So I've always thought that that was the case, is that we're in the era now where your business, the business that you create doesn't matter, or business and the product that you create doesn't matter as much as the building the audience. Like you build the audience first for the founder, and then the
Yeah,
founder can do
yeah,
whatever, they can come out with whatever product and then another product, but people are following the founder, not the product itself. So
yeah.
are we in that era now?
Actually, kind of, because we're in a phase where it becomes difficult to get the attention of our audience. That's not a secret. Everyone is saying that, Gary Vaynerchuk and
Oh,
every
it's
big
impossible.
guy out there. I can
You
see
need more
now,
people going like this. Ah!
and I can see actually now going more and more and more dark, the
Yeah.
dark social.
Yeah.
So by saying bad things, bad stuff, insulting people, etc., just to get the attention, and
Yeah.
then twist them around, and then again sell your stuff and say, no, I don't mean that. No, it was just a joke.
Hmm.
And so this is what I see it's coming, because once the attention becomes saturated, then become difficult to to get it. And then those influencers that they get the attention, they're the one ruling the planet. I mean, we
Yep.
have seen Mr. Beast, how many businesses is
Oh, that's
running, is
ridiculous.
launching.
That guy, I mean, I still remember that when he first went onto Twitter or X, and then he put up a video and got like 1 million views and made like $250,000 in one day. And I'm like, people are like, oh my God, how come we can't make that much money? But he has a platform everywhere else. All he did was drive his subscribers to X and go, oh, here, watch my video on here. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And actually, the funny things is that when I saw that Kim Kardashian launched the investment fund
Hmm.
together in partnership with JP Morgan, then is when I was thinking, what? So now Kim Kardashian is an expert in investments, and everyone ready to give her money.
It's
Please invest my money.
you can
And
tell it's the
but
end of the
that's
world
what
when that starts happening.
exactly. But that's what's going on. At least she was so smart that realized, I can capitalize on every possible opportunity. I'm not
Oh
going to
yeah.
leave anything on the table.
Yeah.
Whatever, give me whatever. Let's sell water, dust, bean, whatever we can under the brand Kim Kardashian, because nobody knows if the
Yeah.
brand is going to last forever, like
Yeah.
every other person. And so
Yeah.
you want to capitalize as fast as possible, as much as possible. So that was
Exactly.
very smart. At the
Yeah.
same way, we understand that even, I mean, Mr. Beast, they ask him, so would you be happy to sell all of your channel and brands for $1 billion?
Hmm.
And he say, no. Few
No.
months later, he launched his own burger joints.
Yeah.
Now his brand is worth more than $20 billion. So,
Exactly.
I mean, a personal brand worth so much so fast, it's impressive,
Yeah.
and I must say.
Yeah. And even I don't really watch that stuff, but I got sucked into this one thing that he did where he bought a grocery store and he had somebody stuck in the grocery store for 30 days or whatever, like stay in
Yes,
the grocery store
yes.
for 6 months or 3 months or whatever and win $1 million. And it's like, even I
Yeah,
got sucked into that. I mean, like, I'm watching this. I'm
yeah,
like, I shouldn't be watching this. I have work to do.
yeah,
But
yes,
it was
yeah.
just like sucked me in. So yeah,
It's
it's
the next
amazing.
level of reality show, like the Big Brother. I mean, one of the trick is
Exactly.
really people are curious about somebody else's life,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
and it works
exactly.
very well.
Exactly. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
You can go to farioli.com. It's my surname.com, and there you will
Hmm.
get everything. I really recommend you guys at least to click and connect to my YouTube channel and to my LinkedIn, because that is where I post most of the great stuff. And then if you
Fantastic.
need any advice or something from farioli.com, you will get as well even my personal WhatsApp. So
Awesome.
at least I can see who you are. Don't try to sell me your investment in real estate because I'm fed up every day to get people trying to sell me real estate. But aside of it, more than happy to work with each one of you. So
Awesome. So
farioli.com.
sounds great. I'll put all the links in the show notes. Thank you so much. It's been great.
That's wonderful. All
Talk
right,
to you soon.
Chris,
All
have a
right.
wonderful day.
You too.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.